This is the future. Evolution. This is the future. Evolution. This is the future.
Hey guys, how's it going? Matt from Foulball Productions here. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope that you're doing well because I'm doing phenomenally. Thank you very much. This is the 69th episode of the MFER Podcast, making it the funniest episode ever, obviously, because 69. So funny because that's how people do sex sometimes. So it's the jokes write themselves. I hope you guys are having a fan-freaking-tastic evening. I've had a marvelous day. I toiled over what to do this stream about for far too long, but I came up with some topics. I actually have a few. Plus, I got to talk to the girl that I have a little bit of a crush on at the gym for a while. That was nice. She is sweet. She didn't run when she found out how old I was, so that was great. You know, I told her I was going to be 40 in a few weeks soon. What's today? The 5th? So 12 days, 14 days. Holy shit. No, more than that. I can't do math. 17 days. Holy shit. Going to do a little birthday stream the week of, but day of, I'll be going out to a very fancy din. Going out to have some omakase sushi, and I am excited, although a little scared because it's going to cost so much money, but it's going to be so delicious. So I'm pumped. Hope you guys are having a great day. And I thank you from the bottom of my heart for being here at the MFER Podcast. Hello. Courtney. Hello, Courtney. Are you the 22nd? I am. May 22nd, 1985. That is my birthday. You know, big day. What's up, Boosh? How you doing? Hello. Sentient dildo. She has a dick. No, she doesn't. No, she does not. I don't think. If she does, it's tiny because she wears very tight pants. She's a trainer at the gym. Ooh, she cute. We'll see how it goes. We'll see. I'll keep you guys posted. I generally don't pick up girls at the gym because it's very uncomfortable. Although, point of fact, I didn't actually pick her up yet, but she seemed very interested. She showed a lot of, she didn't run, no pepper spray, nothing. It was pretty romantic. But I'll keep you guys posted if there's anything to keep you posted on. Excuse me. Hello, Cotton. Papa Cotton. Was this a jungle gym, Matt? Don't bother the children. No, I'm no DILF, Cotton. Don't worry about that, buddy. No DILF here. If you were on Zach's stream on Saturday, you'd get that joke. Don't know if you were, but hello, Boosh. Boosh is saying free Palestine, and Senchadil is saying we love you, Israel. It's a nice heated exchange in the chat. That's what the type of discourse I like to have here. Uga Chaka to you, final glance. Thank you for popping in. What are you saying? My birthday is on the 15th next Tuesday, and I'm older than you, lol. Well, we're all getting a little bit older every day, aren't we? All just marching towards that end. I had a dream today. I took like a little nap, and I had a dream that I was 80. That's a shitty dream. I didn't like that dream at all. I woke up in a bit of a panic, like, oh God, my life hasn't amounted to anything. I've done nothing. I have nothing to show for it. I'm nobody. I better get to work on YouTube and make my fortune. Oh my God. Oh boy. Well, Boosh, you're just stalking her. Cool. I'm not stalking her. We're talking. It rhymes with stalk, but it's not the same thing. It's not the same thing. Yes, please keep us informed as to whether or not you put your pee-pee in a lady. I wasn't being so vulgar. I was saying if love blossoms, Boosh, she's gonna father the next little generation of foul balls. Father. If I'm going to father, if she's going to mother, I'm sure that won't get clipped. I'm sure she's very mature for an 18-year-old. No, she's gonna be 30. All right. That's a very, very reasonable age for someone my age. That's totally fine. That's totally fine. I'm going to be freaking 47. That's like 80. Yeah, well, no, not quite. I mean, it's closer, but yeah, it is weird. It is weird. 40 feels old. Like that feels like a real age. And like men was like, you're just a baby. I'm like, shut the fuck. I'm like older than middle age at this point. This is beyond middle age. I'm not gonna pretend like this isn't a real age. This is a real age. He's already planning kids. Ha ha ha. Yeah, well, it's now or never, Boosh. I mean, if I had a kid today, born today, I'd be 60 when that kid's 20. That's a pretty old dad. You can't be too tired to play catch with your son, or ribbon dance with your daughter, or ribbon dance with your trans daughter. You gotta be sprightly for all that type of activity. 3 years from 50 FML. Well, live in the now, focus on today, focus on the moment. Soon it'll be expired. Shut up. I will not. I'm gonna live forever. I'm gonna be a sprightly young man forever, full of vigor. And was it Zim and Zach? What is that? Vim and vigor. It's full of vim and vigor. Sentient dildo. Yeah, that's right. Robert De Niro had a son when he was 60. It's a daughter now, but whatever. See, that's what happens when you have kids too late. They go trans. See, I won't make that mistake, Boosh. I will not make that mistake. Plus, I'm no Robert De Niro. There's a lot of those guys, man. They just love leaving it in. Like Mick Jagger making kids in his 70s and stuff. And like, wasn't Larry King was like that? Just like making babies when you're a grandfather. It's like, that's a little odd. I mean, I get it from a, biological point of view, a physical point of view. I understand the motivation, but there's a pretty good chance that kid is not going to be fathered. You're going to die soon, right? Did you guys hear? I swear. So I was listening to like I think it was like maybe Carl Benjamin or something, like a stream, and someone just popped in and said like Clint Eastwood died. And then like I didn't think anything of it. And then my ex told me that Clint Eastwood died. Was there a rumor going around that he died? Because he's not dead. I looked that up and he is very much alive. Is that just me? Am I like having like a Final Destination, or what's that movie with Jake Gyllenhaal with the bunny? Why are you wearing that stupid bunny costume? What is that called? It's a good movie. I like that movie with that girl. Wow, I can't think of. My brain's not working today. I'm already getting old. It's already happening. I'm dying. Can anyone think of that? Donnie Darko. Thank you, Boosh. Yes. Am I having like a Donnie Darko moment? Am I like seeing the future before it happens? I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. I'm way more talented than De Niro. Oh, Courtney. Now that's going to go right to my head. That's not even kind of true. Even when he's insanely good. He's a nut and he's a big pussy. He turned into a big old political pussy. But De Niro in his prime, goat, dude. Goat. I love De Niro in his prime. Boosh, you think it was him being 60 or dressing his son in panties and dresses saying he's a girl all day, every day for 20 years? I think it's like, it's kind of, it's like fashionable. It's like a nice handbag, right? It's like an accessory now, your trans kid in Hollywood. Shows how progressive you are and how willing you are to sacrifice your children to the Dark Lord for success. Hello, Zax. Good to see you, sir. Good to see you. Didn't hear anything about it, but I didn't listen, to be fair. That's fair. That is fair. Cotton, my kid, I did not know you have a child. That's concerning. That's that poor kid. It's like you and Rob. Like you guys have procreated. You guys have spawn out there that are getting your thoughts downloaded into their pristine little mainframe. Oh my God. That is worrisome. That's what that is. Alagabullus, hello. Matt, does Ruben have AI kids with his AI girlfriend? Well, I think we all got to the bottom that girl is quite real. It's still a bizarre situation, and there's no talking Ruben out of it. And he's forsaking his Lord and Savior for some coups. But yeah, I think that's a real girl. So I don't know. We'll have to see. He is to be fair, that is his specialty, right? AI. That is what he does. I don't know. Why doesn't he do any of that on his YouTube channel? You think like he'd put some of that like computer know-how into your videos. But hey, I don't fucking know. You're trying to lift my spirits, Matthew. Oh, that's nice of you, Courtney. That's very sweet. See, there are some nice people around here. Not all you savages. Not all you savages. Who hasn't masturbated at a therapist's office? Let's be honest. Donnie Darko wasn't that weird. Instance, Section 8. Remember that from Full Metal Jacket? Like the shirt I'm wearing? When they're talking about crazy fucker starts beating off in the waiting room. Instance, Section 8. Yep. Cotton's kid is gorgeous. Oh, you're just a ball of sunshine today, Courtney. Just super sweet. Zach has kittens. I have a kitten and currently 2 cats. Although one is just a renter. One is just a temporary roommate. She will be eventually going back with Michael. But for now, I have fat orange Lula who peed on the carpet several times, which is really irritating. I had to pay several $100s to have it cleaned. Didn't really care for that, honestly. But yeah, had to do that. All right. Halagable is trying to just clear out the chat. What does a 40-year-old Wendell sound like, Matt? Is he optimistic? Wendell's always optimistic. He's a positive guy. He's a very sunshiny fellow, and you know that all the time. All the time. Just always seeing the bright side of things, looking at sunshine. That's the type of guy he is. That's the type of guy Wendell is. Okay, let's talk some fucking stories. I got one that is pretty interesting. I was going to do a video on it, but I didn't really quite have enough to actually do a whole video on it. Ah, crap. Oh, no. Why is the time code not here? I thought I saved the time code. Ah, crap. I got to scrub. Okay, I got it. All right. Oh, that's that's Michael. Final glance is Michael. Big fat Lula, she be pissing. Yeah. I am a proud kitty parent. I love my cats. I really love having them all around. It's not like a good look. It doesn't make me look any more desirable to my gym crush, I imagine. But yeah, I love them. They're just so fuzzy little shits, and I love having them all around. It's probably not good. It's probably standing in emotionally for like a real relationship. It's probably like thwarting my chances. You know, the way masturbation makes you not want to have sex. Probably like having a cat in the house makes it like, well, I could get a girlfriend or I could just squish my cats. You know, it's probably not good for my mind, but what are you going to do? This guy at outside the gas station reeked of weed and asked me if I had $5 for gas money. I laughed at him. He got mad. I flat out tell homeless guys no. I'm like, no, dude. No. Like I'm like annoyed at the question. Michael was there. I did it one time when he was there. I hate it. Fuck off, dude. Leave me alone. Like, And the thing is, like, half the time it's like, I'm going to work right now. I'm going to go contribute to society and actually earn money. Okay. So you could try doing that. You look pretty healthy and able-bodied to me, man. Why don't you give that a shot? I used to drive to work and it was a morning shift too. So it boiled my piss even more. There's this guy and he looked like he was like 32. He's like in good shape. He's just like begging for money. I literally mouthed, I was like, get a job. It's like, you could probably find money at the end of a fucking employment week, dick. It's so obnoxious. Like, while you're going to work and you're struggling, this asshole's just like, hey, could I get some money to fucking get high all day? No, you can't. No, you can't, jerk off. The rest of us are contributing. The rest of us are breaking our backs at jobs we hate so that we're not you. Okay? You don't get a free ride, asshole. I don't like homeless people. Having lived my entire adult life in either New York City, Los Angeles, or Austin, I just have zero patience for them. I'm just flush them out, man. I hate it. I don't like them. No respect. Yes, a true cat lady. I mean, I am kind of the stereotype, right? 40 years old, single, no kids, 3 cats. That's the reality, dude. That is just the truth. Oh my God, it's sad. It'd be sad. It'd be sad if it wasn't funny, but it is actually kind of funny. So I'm like, I'll survive. I'll survive at least another year before I put that fucking Glock in my mouth. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm not going to self-delete. Just a joke. It's just a joke. You're up to 3 cats too? They're great. I love cats, man. They're fun. Plus, like, half the time they don't need your attention. They'll just, like, you just leave them alone. They're cool. Yeah, I'm with it. He has money for drugs and cigarettes, but not gas. Exactly. There's always a hustle at like Grand Central Station in New York. Like, hey man, I just need a few bucks to get back to Philadelphia. Yeah, do you? Maybe you should have brought that money with you. It's not my problem. That's not what you're doing. It's like, it's always the same line. It's like the kids in the subways always have like that little like, hey, I'm not trying to raise no money for no basketball team. I'm just trying to get some money in my pocket so that I can stay off the streets and stay off crime. Will you like to buy some stolen M&Ms? No, I won't. No to homeless. Yes to homos, Matt. No, that's an inaccurate characterization. Ladies, I'm not gay. All right. God. Zach. Then there's that dude that makes $100K a year pretending to be retarded in a wheelchair. Yeah, there's those guys. Absolutely. He's convincing. I was with my buddy in Chinatown. This homeless guy asked me for money. We said no. He said, how about a joke? What do Kodak and Woody Allen have in common? They come in little yellow boxes, and you gave him $1 in coins in your pocket. That's good. Honestly, because he provided you with value. You actually exchanged money for a service there. That's pretty funny. I remember it would always kind of depend too. Like when I used to, I don't really do it anymore, but when I used to, just kind of be like, oh, are you not bothering me? Okay, here's $1 for the fact that you didn't bother me. Like I will pay for that convenience. It's like paying for like premium Spotify, right? Like I don't want ads. I don't want to be bothered. It's like, here's the $1 just because you left me alone. That's worth $1 to me to not be bothered. Ruben, I'm so proud of you, Matt. You finally fully transitioned. You got your balls back. I don't know what exactly you're indicating I got my balls back from, but thanks. Means a lot. Have you you met your wife yet? Your future wife? Your future tribe member? I'm curious. You reading your Torah, buddy? You reading your Torah, pal? Huh? Listen, I can probably pull some strings to get you to sign some bombs if you really want to seal the deal, You really want to make an impression on the little lady and her family? Just saying. I'm just saying. If you give me $10 to help me get home, I'll mail you back 50. Yeah. Oh, wow. That's an amazing opportunity I've just stumbled across. Sure thing. No problem. I once offered a homeless guy on a bench the rest of my pizza. He said no, and upon further inspection, he was definitely not homeless. That's funny. I used to I remember one time when I was living in New York City and I was getting off of work, and I was got a sandwich and it came with a bag of chips. And I didn't want the chips. So I offered them to a homeless guy and he just begrudgingly, angrily took them from me. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. I could also just stomp them in front of you if you'd prefer. I was just trying to be nice, man. It's just such an asshole thing to do. I don't know. There was a lot of bullshit too. I mean, I used to work in a restaurant. We used to just throw out these giant loaves of bread every night. And I was just like, that's food, dude. You know, you get desensitized to it in the food industry for after a while, but I hated that. I hated throwing out food. It would drive me crazy. That restaurant went out of business. So I bought a guy a sandwich from 7-Eleven. He started breaking it up for his friend, made me feel good. I don't like giving homeless people money. Food, yeah, food is different. Food doesn't make me feel bad. You know, I generally don't do it because I don't like encouraging it at all. But if anything, I'm going to offer them food. That's something. You know, that's something. You've had that happen too. They scoff at the food you're offering. It's just like, oh, excuse me. Yeah, I don't really care to like enable your drug habit and therefore continue this behavior. I'd prefer it if I never even knew you were alive, dude. You know, I don't like this. You guys are gross. You're scary, you know, sometimes violent. I don't like it. Go away. Hey, Big Ship. What up, dog? What up, dog? The love doctor is back. He's back in the house and he's going to drop some love bombs. You know what I mean? Drop some love bombs. Okay, let's watch this video. I think so. I scrubbed this earlier, but I guess I didn't share the what's it called? The time code, but I'm pretty sure this is it. It's somewhere in here.
I'm working also with Secretary Rollins on the SNAP program and the to get sodas and candy off of the food stamp program. 10% of food stamps go to the SNAP. And I want to thank you for your courage. You are a business-friendly president, probably the most business-friendly in our history, but you're also willing to stand up to very, very powerful businesses, and you've shown that again and again. Secretary Rollins had the soda industry come and knock on her door very much, very loudly, and they said to her, well, the SNAP program is not supposed to be about nutrition. She pointed out to them that there is no nutrition in a soda. And they said, well, it's not supposed to be about nutrition. And she said to them, the name of the program is supplemental nutrition. It is not nutrition.
So I saw this clip. I thought it was pretty funny. That was kind of a funny thing. And I've been hearing about this soda industry lobbyists kind of coming to the government to basically like, whoa. Hey, let's keep diabetic sodas government funded if we could. And I was curious because like back in the day, like, I don't know if you guys remember, like in let's call it the mid aughts. I hate saying the aughts, mid like 2000s. There was like this kind of big like food activist movement, you know, where like the whole thing was basically exposing like the agribusiness like in this country and just how repulsive it is and how they raise chickens. Like, you'll see the conveyor belt of chicks and you're like, oh God, it's just like so inhuman. And the way they raise them and like cows like in just rivers of their own shit. And you're just like, this can't be good to eat. And so there was a lot of movements like Food Inc. and all these different, you know, just kind of like documentaries and talks. And my mom is really big into this because she's a culinary arts instructor. And I was like, you know, hell yeah, you know, food service professional. I am. I cared about that. So I used to go into a lot of these talks. And I really cared about this stuff. And so one of the big things that you learn going down this rabbit hole is that the corn syrup and the corn products that are in our country and our economy so widespread are there because they're subsidized by the government. So the government subsidizes a huge percentage of the corn that's grown in this country. And if you're ever in the Midwest of the United States, you'll just see endless for miles in all directions, corn. That's not like food grade corn. It's not like corn on the cob. You don't eat that. It's mostly feed for, you know, animals that generally don't eat corn, like cows. Crazy. And also for like industrial food products, like high fructose corn syrup, you know. And it's a really kind of dark thing because high fructose corn syrup kind of like metabolizes in your body different. Like if you had the equivalent amount of like, say, cane sugar, like your body would recognize that this is too much and you'd fill up faster. For some reason, corn syrup doesn't process in your body that way. So you can just go gallons and gallons of it where normally you wouldn't have as much. If you ever had like a Mexican Coke, like I could down a Coke, like a, you know, big gulp or whatever, go to Wendy's, get like an extra, I go crazy on that. But like a Mexican Coke, I'd have about half it. I'm like, I'm good. Like it's too sweet. It's too much. That's probably the reaction you should have. But since it's made with corn syrup, you don't. And so, like, I looked at that as an evil, and it absolutely is. I mean, it's just the type of thing that you just shouldn't really be consuming. And the only reason you do is because it's so, the price is so artificially lowered because of government subsidies. One of those things I absolutely hate. So I was looking into this whole soda thing and the SNAP thing. And interestingly enough, even though it is artificially lowered and subsidized by the government, it's actually not that big of an expense to the US taxpayer. Like, like we do subsidize a lot. I crunched all the numbers. We send, so it's a significant amount of money that we put out like for corn subsidies. But if you kind of just break down the percentage, it's basically only about 6% of that subsidized corn becomes high fructose corn syrup. So the cost of the government about somewhere between like 250 and $300 million, which is not insignificant, but it's not that much when you're talking about federal budgets. However, when it comes to SNAP, that's the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, basically federal food stamps. These soft drink companies like make literally billions, not millions, not hundreds of millions, billions, to the point where it's something like a significant percentage of their revenue, like 10% of their revenue is made up of like SNAP purchases of soda and candy and stuff like that. And you're like, yo, that's a sick cycle. That is not good. Like, I've never been on food stamps. My family wasn't, but I know people who have been, and I know that they've like needed it. So it's not the type of thing that I'm like outright like we shouldn't have this. It's not. Probably from like a libertarian perspective, I would say yes, but like practically, I don't really see that as being a functional, especially if it exists and you're just going to take it away. Probably create some real problems. But I do agree with, yeah, I mean, it should be nutrition. You should be buying rice and vegetables and meat with it. You shouldn't be buying fucking Coca-Cola and, Smarties. You should be buying real food. And it's literally billions of dollars. So if you think about the whole cycle, you've got these billions of dollars that the government, us, the taxpayer, are supplementing the government. Then that's like given to citizens. Those citizens then buy, soda, as I explained earlier, you can consume so much more and makes you sick faster. And then you end up with like people who are like pre-diabetic or diabetic when they're kids, like type 2, the one you like acquire. And like, then all the healthcare costs go up. We're basically subsidizing like a complete destruction of American health. And it's really repulsive. And I got to be honest, I'm really happy to see that this type of thing is like being stood up to, like I've heard about those different dyes and stuff over the years. And I think that that's all very serious. I really genuinely do. But I didn't quite understand that it's like, oh, those are petroleum based dyes. Like those are just byproducts of oil production that we're putting in our food. Probably not the best thing for you. Probably not healthy, I would think. And this is like, I think this is a really good loophole. And I think Americans generally, we don't eat well. We don't think about food. We don't understand food abstractly. I feel like most people got to dinner and like they wouldn't even really be able to kind of like look at their food and kind of think about the whole process of like, how is this even made? What's in this? Like, where did it come from? What are the different components? I feel like most Americans actually are pretty uneducated on food. And this, I think, is a great step in the right direction because we are an incredibly unhealthy country where it's like 36% of Americans are obese or something like that. Like I am all for this kind of thing. I'm like less for like government mandated, do this, or we only provide money for this. But for in this particular instance, I just feel like it's good. We're not going to let you buy soda with it. You can buy soda if you want, but you got to use your own money. I think that's in the country's best interest. And if we're going to subsidize something, I think subsidizing nutrition is probably the best. Now, I mean, there's a million other little steps in between there, which is like, okay, but you probably shouldn't buy like Hot Pockets and pizza rolls and, frozen fish sticks. You know what I mean? You probably should buy real food for your family that you should, supplement. You should, nutritize. What's the word? Like sustain yourself on. But I think this is a good step in the right direction. I don't think it's going to actually save any direct money. Like we're not going to give $4 billion less or whatever in SNAP benefits. But if we are actually like gonna invest the money, it's like, well, it should be for health. And at least it shouldn't be for directly taking away health. That's my thinking. What do you guys think? You guys are talking in the chat quite a bit. Boosh, I think RFK is great, but it's so hard to listen to him. 100%. And you always kind of forget because he is like he's a dapper looking gentleman, dapper looking older guy. He's in great shape. And you hear that voice. It's just like, oh my God, the president empowered me to get rid of this. And then you're like, oh, jeez. It's just like it's rugged. Go away, Stinky. I have to get home to my cats and await my return. Yes, they do. And he is. That's accurate. Boosh, dude, I do a check on food stamps. It's like $1,000 a month. I spend 50 a week on groceries. It's $1,000 a month. Maybe I need to get me some of the food stamps. Damn. I don't spend that much on groceries. That's awesome. $1,000 a month. Shit. They is trying to take away our food stamp soda, man. I wasn't making any kind of accusations as to who was consuming the soda sentient dildo. That was not my goal here. That wasn't what I was doing here at all. So you can't put that on me, YouTube. I was just reading a chat. Nothing to do with me. Zax, my buddy used to make beggars do push-ups and jumping jacks. We had a few freakouts, totally worth it. Yeah, there you go. Earn the money. I work well for that Supersize Me guy. He died. He sure died, that guy. Yeah, he's pretty young, too. Morgan Spurlock. I remembered his name. I like that. That was a good one, too. Yeah, I've been in the service industry. Hell yeah, boosh. I love whistleblowers exposing the horrors out of food production. It's repulsive. I remember like the first time I really came like in contact with it was when I worked at Chili's, and I like saw them like preparing like all the food, and they had like salmon and like the ribs, and they're all like individually packaged, and all of a sudden I could just see like the assembly line, and I was like, oh God, this is so inhuman, like this is gross. And also, by the way, those Chili baby back ribs that everybody loves, they're gray. Yeah, they're gray before they slather them in that barbecue sauce. So just keep that in mind. Vegetable oils are awful now. It's all from hormone and chemical enriched plants. Facts. I use clarified butter, because I'm a G like that. Mexican Coke is like ours over here. Yeah, you guys have real sugar in your beverages because you don't have artificially, price deflated corn syrup. You have real sugar. And sugar's pretty cheap on the global market. Apparently, we have tariffs on the sugar here, so that keeps the price artificially high. My neighbor makes $100K. It qualifies for SNAP. We haven't spoken in 7 years. You freeloading son of a bitch! I won't even talk to you. Mexican Coke has actual cane sugar. Indeed. I made way less than that and have never qualified for SNAP or EBT. I've never actually tried, but maybe I do. I don't know. I certainly, if I'm claiming YouTube as my main source of income, I definitely qualify. He is scamming the system big time. Who is? I'm on SSDI, so I get SNAP. I don't know what SSDI is, but hey, man, get some of that free food. Just can't buy soda or candy with it anymore. Courtney, I don't know if you were, but you can't now. You can get fast food with food stamps now. That's just depressing. I cook at home every day. I couldn't imagine eating junk all day, every day for years on end, free or not. I don't understand people who like don't cook. I knew a girl back in New York who's a vegan who didn't cook. I'm like, how do you live like that? Sounds impossible. Like, I feel like you'd have to just to like survive. She didn't cook. I was like, that's wild. I was like watching comedian Jim Norton, and he did a video a few years back where he was like scrambling eggs. He had never scrambled eggs in his whole life, never cooked once. He was like in his 50s. I was like, how did you make it this far without ever trying cooking one time? That's bananas. Even like he was showing his oven, and his oven had all the like plastic and like paper and stuff in it that like when it comes out of the factory, like that's how little that oven had ever been used. Just like it's just a furniture. Crazy. Yeah, Matt, but what about corpo profits? Good point. I didn't even think about that. Forget what I said. Dude, years ago, I saw this blonde chick with 2 black babies trying to buy a CD with food stamps. She was arguing with the cashier about it. Jesus Christ. That's a bad look, man. That's a bad look. There's a lot of stereotypes about certain communities in this country that get a lot of traction on X and Twitter. And then there's some stereotypes about white people too that are pretty brutal, that are pretty accurate. I don't drink soda though. I try to eat healthy because I'm on disability because I'm sick. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. That sucks. Yeah, well, food's one of the ways to do it. I mean, that's what you put in your body every single day. Better, the healthier, the better. Hey, man of war, what up, dog? The federal renewable fuel standard mandate. Around 40% of U.S. corn production goes to ethanol for fuel, the blender's tax credit. That's right. That's another big part of it, which is all horseshit as well. That's the problem with some of this stuff. It's so ingrained in the system now. I would love it if we just were like, we don't do that anymore, like fight it out in the free market, but that would just put so many farmers out of business. It's kind of like there's this great slice of history. So there's this YouTuber called the Fat Electrician. I absolutely love him. I watch pretty much everything he does. And he covered this and it was really interesting. So, and if you guys remember in the 80s, there was that thing like government cheese, that was like that kind of shitty mass produced kind of waxy cheese that was like distributed in like underprivileged communities, it was like a big thing. Also, like in the 80s and 90s, there were commercials where everything was like cheesy, extra cheese, Well, there's a reason for that. It's because so it's kind of a long story, but after after Prohibition, right, the culture had shifted its desires from alcohol to ice cream. That's why if you look at kind of old movies, always like the ice cream parlor and like the soda pop shop and all that stuff, because a lot of those bars just converted into ice cream parlors and stuff because they were legal and alcohol wasn't. So the country got a big taste for ice cream and sweets and stuff like that. So much so that even during World War II, they would have like these barges that would like follow the troops that were there just to produce ice cream because the GIs wanted ice cream so much. It was such a big part of the culture then. So, and another brilliant like solution by the government, they were like, okay, we're also, in order to make all this extra ice cream, we're gonna subsidize the dairy industries. Give them lots of money. If they give them money, they'll produce more dairy and we'll have more milk for our GIs and so on and so forth. Well, guess what happened? After the war, they didn't stop the subsidies because they're like, well, all these dairy farmers are going to go out of work if we don't do that. So I guess we'll just keep doing it. So they kept doing it. But unfortunately, the demand for cheese and dairy products was not nearly as high as one would need for all that extra dairy. So literally what would happen is they'd produce all this milk, and if they'd either destroy it or they'd turn it into cheese because that's stockpile it. And then they would literally stockpile tons, hundreds and hundreds of tons of cheese. And they'd put it in these giant underground vaults in a mountain somewhere. And it wasn't until Reagan came into office and he's like, what's happening? And he like fixed that like loophole, and they decided to redistribute all the cheese to like the inner city in that government cheese program. Yeah, these subsidies don't stop doing it. You know what I mean? Stop meddling in the economy. Unless it's tariffs, in which case, because Trump did it, then it's fine. I just really wish we would stop, man. I really wish we would stop. Crazy, dude. Lagos, I thought government cheese was initially created for a post-nuclear war scenario. That's not my understanding of the situation. It could very well be, but the story that I just told was the one that I heard, so I don't know. We said ice cream to space. Oh, yeah, you're right. We did. I remember that. Astronaut ice cream. And you used to be able to buy that as a kid. I've had some. It's kind of weird. It's a little grainy. It's a little odd. Norton's husband doesn't cook for him. No, I believe she does, but Norton never cooked. I don't know. Maybe he's learning how to do it now, but he didn't. Yeah. So I thought this was a pretty interesting story, and I think it's a really good thing. I'm glad. I think we kind of like, and apparently, like Trump is also like, I guess this new budget kind of gets rid of like Section 8 housing, or like a significant portion of it, which, I just think it's like if you subsidize these things, then eventually they just become institutionalized and they'll never go away. It's not like a temporary solution. It's like a permanent thing. You're just like, okay, well, now we just provide this much percentage of the population with housing, which is like not great because a lot of the ways you qualify for that is not making money. So you live poor but nobody wants to live poor. So what's a way that I could make money where I won't lose my benefits? Oh, I could sell drugs or rob people. I could commit crime. Then I'll still get my benefits and I'll get all this extra money. Brilliant. What a phenomenal solution. Good work. Good work. So I don't know. I just think in a lot of ways, not in every way, but a lot of ways, the free market libertarians have the best arguments, and I think are overall the best for individuals, for small businesses, for large businesses, for the country. But I'm just an idiot YouTuber. I'm not an economist. Don't listen to me. Matt's on his economist art. Yeah, no, I mean, I know plenty of things, dude. I read a book. I listened to half a Thomas Sowell audiobook. I know what I'm talking about. Cotton. Government cheese sucked. It always had chunks of salt in it. Yeah, I don't believe it was artisanal. I believe it was just mass-produced shit because they didn't know what to do with all this milk because they didn't want to stop the subsidies for the dairy industry. Crazy. Boosh. How many billions have gone into that high-speed rail in California that was supposed to be finished 10 years ago and hasn't broken ground? I moved to California in 2011. I remember them talking about it then. Yeah, hasn't made even a dent. But a pox on Elon for trying to get rid of some of this corruption and some of this bloated government spending. Yeah, what a piece of shit he is. How dare he even try? We got to keep this gravy train rolling, folks. California wastes so much federal money, government subsidies, it's criminal. And they're so rich. They make so much money, and somehow they just fuck it all up. God, what a disappointing state California is, man. It's so beautiful. I mean, the coast is maybe the most beautiful coastline I've ever seen. It's so gorgeous and so like rich, and you like go down there, you like see seals and otters. It's like incredible. There's like these succulents all over the beach. It's absolutely beautiful. And you just go into their cities, and you're like, God, what do you do? How do you do this? It's the worst. I mean, you see all over San Francisco, there's like businesses are just shutting down in record numbers. They just don't have businesses anymore because they're just not like protecting them. They're just allowing them to be looted and gutted. And you're like, all right, well, we're going to leave. And they're like, wait, no, that's racist. You're like, what? How can I stay in business if I literally can't sell things without them getting stolen? They're like, racist. All right. See ya. I don't know. Sentient dildo. I'd also waste money if people were obligated to give it to me under the threat of imprisonment. Yeah, I mean, that's exactly what happens. That's precisely why a smaller government is the better one, because it's like there's no accountability. Zero. You can just keep demanding it. They got the guns. They say, give me the money. You got to give it to them. And then they'll just keep spending it. And that's what they've been doing. Hence $34 trillion in debt. We got to cut this shit out, man. Got to cut this shit out. But there's a few billion rattle around there to Israel we could probably cut out. That's just my opinion. That's just a thought that just popped into my head. We could probably stop doing that. California pays the most in taxes, according to California. Also, for $1 they pay in federal taxes, they also absorb $5 in federal aid. Oh, that's something to look into. I bet you're right. That's an interesting, sad, pathetic thought. Okay, so back to the news. Trump's reopening Alcatraz. This is a real story. I saw it on Twitter and I was like, that sounds like bullshit. Because there is a fair amount of bullshit stories that people just pass off as, oh, this is totally happening. And, they're nothing. Like there was one I saw today that was like, oh, Canada's going to ban Twitter. And then there was no evidence to that. It was literally just something that someone said. You're like, okay. That's what I thought this one was. I was like, no, he's not opening Alcatraz. He wants to. And if you don't believe me, let's hear it from the horse's mouth. Bam.
Was supposed to be a movie maker. We started with the movie making and we'll end. I mean, it represents something very strong, very powerful in terms of law and order. Our country needs law and order. Alcatraz is, I would say, the ultimate, right? Alcatraz, Sing Sing and Alcatraz, the movies. But It's right now a museum, believe it or not. A lot of people go there. It housed the most violent criminals in the world, and nobody ever escaped.
This was a home to some of the most awesome scum in the country, or whatever that line. I was really toying with doing this thumbnail with just Sean Connery and Nicolas Cage and just saying welcome back to The Rock, just because I love that movie so much. Such a good movie. I'd take pleasure in gutting you, boy. I'd take pleasure in gutting you, boy. What kind of people are these?
Person almost got there, but they, as you know the story, they found his clothing rather badly ripped up, and it was a lot of shark bites, a lot of problems.
Clint Eastwood and that guy Mason, what's his name? Sean Connery's character from The Rock. He also escaped. Okay, Clint Eastwood and Sean Connery. Okay, I guess you just got to be a badass to do it.
Nobody's ever escaped from Alcatraz, and just represented something strong having to do with law and order. We need law and order in this country. And so we're going to look at it. Some of the people up here are going to be working very hard on that. And we had a little conversation. I think it's going to be very interesting. We'll see if we can bring it back in large form, add a lot. But I think it represents something. Right now, it's a big hulk that's sitting there rusting and rotting.
But doesn't it like earn money? You know what I mean? Like, it's a park that people pay. I don't know how profitable it is. I don't know if the expenses just go to cover the expense of the park, but it doesn't cost us anything. And isn't like California's prison population already insanely bloated? I don't know. And I was reading something that like operating Alcatraz costs like 3 times as much as any other prison because of the fact that it's in the middle of that bay. And the bay is like notoriously choppy and hard to navigate. So you have to constantly ferry supplies and, you know, men. It sounds fun. You're like, all right, yeah, reopen Alcatraz. But like, why? Like, how much is it going to cost to renovate Alcatraz? And just to what end? Are we like out of prison space or something? Like, I understand it's a symbol, but I genuinely don't know why we would do this. Papillon would escape. That bitch had no problem. Good movie. The Steve McQueen film. Dustin Hoffman's in that, oddly enough. You're like, oh, is that Dustin Hoffman? We don't expect him to show up in there, but you know what, Senchentito, you're actually onto something. If that's the plan, if we're moving all the bums to Alcatraz, I'm all for it, although they would never fit. You couldn't fit all of the bums in California in New Jersey. It'd still be overcrowded. Yeah, it's a solid flick for sure. We should rename the San Francisco Bay to the Bay of America, or just translate it into English. We now call it Saint Francisco. It's not San anymore. That's Spanish. That's gay. We don't do that. Build more Supermax prisons in Alaska. Good call. Maybe we'll just turn Alaska into like our Australia. It's just a prison colony now. This is big and empty. There's nothing up there. They have to fight bears, you know? And then if they escape, they just go to Canada. So who gives a shit? Canada.
Very, you look at it, it's sort of, you saw that picture that was put out. It's sort of amazing. But it sort of represents something that's both horrible and beautiful and strong and miserable, weak. It's got a lot of qualities.
Wait, what did he just say? Did he just say it's strong and weak? Is that what he just said?
Miserable, weak. But it sort of represents something that's both horrible and beautiful and strong and miserable, weak. It's
horrible and beautiful. It's strong and it's miserable and weak. What the fuck does that mean? I mean, I've given up, trying to translate Trump into real English, but I honestly don't know what this is about. I mean, look, a lot of times Trump does have a plan and he just doesn't really reveal it. He does have a reason for why he says stuff. Who knows what his thinking is here, but this is a strange one to me. I really don't know.
It's got a lot of qualities.
To appease the Ministry of Truth, they should rename to San Franciscans. because gendered language is evil. Good for you. You're right. That's true. God, good thing you're here. I almost let that one slip by. I have to give myself 10 lashes for my privilege. He's given some good reason. He's giving some good sound bites, but I think it's all noise to upset the media. Maybe. I don't even know what the point is, but they take the bait every single time. So we'll see where this goes. I have no idea.
That are interesting. And I think they make a point.
Really? Oh.
Nearly.
Already. Hold on. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I honestly have no idea what that's about. I think that's interesting, weird, bananas, fun. I honestly don't know why, though, because I feel like it would cost a fortune. Like how like, I mean, in the movie, which is my only real experience at Alcatraz, I've never been there. And that was a movie that came out in the 90s. Like, it looked like it was crumbling. Now, I don't know how much of that they shot on location, how much of that was sets or, builds or whatever, but it didn't look like it was in great shape, right? Certainly not that you could just start occupying prisoners there, although they did have all the tourists locked up there. So maybe I'm wrong, but you'd have to revitalize the whole building, right? And so we'd have to like ship out, like all the materials and the men and the supplies, and they probably couldn't stay there. So they'd have to go back every night. And why? Like, for what? I get it. It's a symbol, but it's still there. Like, if you wanted to like revitalize, it was just an abandoned building and now you want to turn it into a monument. That's cool or whatever. But the idea that you're going to, I don't know. Maybe you're right, Boosh. Maybe he's just like, talking shit or trying to spin up the media. I don't know. He's freestyling. He does freestyle quite a bit. Isn't 10% of California homeless and 20% jobless? Make them rebuild Alcatraz. That's true. But first night, everyone would escape because it'd be so shoddily made. That salty air is a bitch. Yeah, that's true. That too. Also, yeah, it's all just like getting whipped with salt water all day, every day. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they'll build the whole thing out of plastic, like something for Magneto. Like a big plastic prison. Maybe Elon will help. They'll have Starlink. I don't know. They'll inject what's that stuff? The Neuralink into every prisoner and try to like rework their neurons so that they stop committing crimes. It'll be a big experiment. It'll be like MK Ultra, X Ultra, because he'll name it X something X. He has to. Yeah. So that's Trump's reopening Alcatraz. All right, fucking cook, King. I don't know. I have no idea why he's doing that. But it's an interesting story. I don't know. There's a few things. I pulled up like a bunch of stories. I've got the main story that I want to talk about, the Trump Hollywood thing, but this is interesting. And I've been seeing this kind of go around on like a few different people sharing it. Now, I don't know how many of you people care, but I care because this is what I love this shit. Oh, wow. The Mets are on Max. Nice. I'll have to watch that. Advertising does work. See, guys? Okay. Half-Life 3 is not just in development. It's now playable end-to-end, Leaker suggests. And it could release later this year. Now, listen, guys. I don't know how much you guys are gamers. Okay. But I am a gamer. Emphasis on the gay, right? That you don't know. But I love playing video games. I'm a big fan. I always have been ever since I first knew what they were. I've loved them. And Half-Life is one of those games that I grew up on, right? I absolutely love Half-Life. Half-Life is a game that like I played the original many times through. Excuse me. Me and my buddy, Scott, shout out Scott. I used to play that game for hours and hours and hours. And there was not, it's such a pioneering game. There's nothing like it when it came out. Absolutely brand new, cutting edge, changed gaming forever. And I loved it. And then when Half-Life 2 came out, I also loved it. I played the shit out of that. I think I 100%ed it, to be honest. If I didn't, I came close. And I like did all the achievements and played the episodes. And then, I even did the one where you take the gnome from the beginning of the game, essentially, and you carry it all the way through to the end and put it in the rocket cone, which was not easy, by the way. It's got a real pain in the ass, to be honest, because you're like running from striders and those like stalker hunter things. And that was a hell of an achievement I achieved. But point being, I love those games. Love them thoroughly. And if you've never played it, episode 2 ends on a pretty big cliffhanger, right? You launch the rocket, but you're going to the Borealis, and it's going to cross over with Portal, which is another brilliant game. So it's kind of like it's all canon, like a Portal 1, Portal 2. It's all now part of the Half-Life universe. And you're going to go to the Borealis and you're going to play. And it was just like, oh my God. And I used to check, dude. I used to check like manually Google like updates on like when Half-Life 3 was coming out. Like I was sure it was going to come out eventually. It would have to. I mean, they'd make $1 billion the second it came out. Like, why would they not? And then year in and year out, and it just didn't come out. And I was just like, this is bananas. Like, what? Why? And then eventually you just sort of, get this kind of melancholy acceptance, You're just like, all right, I guess they're never going to be a Half-Life 3. I don't know why. I don't know why they wouldn't do that, but they're not going to. And then, like a ray from heaven, Half-Life put out a documentary last year, and it was just suggested, but strongly suggested by Gaben himself that there may actually be a Half-Life 3. And the suggestion was pretty subtle. He was talking about the reason that they never did that, and the reason they didn't put out the next game was he was always looking for a reason to innovate. And he didn't really feel like the technology was there. He didn't really feel like there was something that they could truly accomplish with the third game. So they just never really did it. But then what he says is he doesn't feel like those limitations exist now, which a lot of people read to be like, oh shit, dude, we're getting Half-Life 3. Like that might happen. But that's all we heard. Now, all of a sudden, there's more chatter. And this fella who better not be lying, or I will hunt him down. I'm just kidding. This is YouTube. I'm not going to hurt anyone. But this guy says this. Half-Life 3 is not just in development. It's now playable end to end. That's according to Valve insider Tyler McKeever. Now, I looked into Tyler McKeever. He's a YouTuber. Now, it makes it sound like this guy works for Valve. I do not think that is the case. He just sounds like a guy who, I don't know, makes stuff up. But insider is a strong word. I don't know. We know how shifty and untrustworthy YouTubers can be, right, guys? So this is what he says. But this is not just like hey, I heard they're working on it. This is like, it's done. You can play it. Like, you better not be fucking with me. Okay. This is according to Valve, who posits the eagerly anticipated sequel could be announced early as this summer, Q3, with possible release before the end of 2025, possibly winter Q4. Bro, do not play games with my heart. Do not. The Backstreet Boys warned you about that, and I am reminding you, do not play games with my heart. We've already had strong evidence, if no specific confirmation, that Valve is once again working on a major new Half-Life project of some kind, codenamed HLX. With a trustworthy report last summer detailing the data mined assets and code snippets backing up a leak from an actor likely involved. Now, I will also say, as someone who did spend all his time, not all his time, but many of the years looking into Half-Life leaks, this type of thing would happen all the time. There would always be some patch update, and it would have some sound effect that if you decoded it and played it backwards, it said something. This was the type of thing you'd hear all the time. But I've never heard anyone make this claim that there's a playable Half-Life 3. That is brand new to me. As first reported, what does it say? Engadget, McVicker, not McKeever. McVicker gave a live stream Q&A packed with explosive clues and hints about what's to come, and he has once again stressed the game is not VR. Half-Life 3 is not a VR title. HLX is being play tested so religiously and so widely that there are individuals who will just talk. I personally have a policy of avoiding any story-related questions or information wherever possible, so I currently avoid all of them, but I've been offered it by people who are trustworthy, and I know some of my contemporaries have given it, so there is information out there about the pilot. Bro, please don't be lying to me. That said, he did tease that he actually does think Portal's Chell may turn up in Half-Life 3. What? And stressed Eric Wolpaw wants to do Portal 3 so fucking bad. Dude. Oh my God. Half-Life 3, Portal 3. Put it in my veins. McVicker also opined it was possible Portal 3 could be the next single-player project developed at Valve, but that may depend on who is going to retire after Half-Life 3. Bro. Like I said, I don't know how much you guys give a shit about this, but I am the nerd. Inside of me is screeching like a little bitch. I want this to happen so bad. I want Half-Life 3. I want Portal 3. I want Valve to start making games again. God damn it. You know, they do run an incredible gaming platform. Don't get me wrong. I'm a big Steam fan. It gets indie games out there. They got great sales, unlike platforms like Nintendo, where it's just like, even you buy a 10-year-old game, they're like, yeah, it's still full price. You're like, that's insane. They're like, we don't care. We're Nintendo. But I don't know. I hope so. God, I hope so. Oh, hello, the Wake Down. We're just talking about you a little bit. How you doing, buddy? What's cracking, pal? Valve has no reason to ever make anything again. No, but they might. They might. You know, Gaben's getting old. Starting to wonder if his legacy is going to be that of a punchline. I don't know. Wheatley was awesome. You may have a very small minor case. He's great, dude. Who's that actor who plays him? He's so funny, dude. I love that. And J.K. Simmons. I actually one time when I was back in Hollywood, I was working at a place, the Artisan Cheese Gallery, no longer there. I also famously told my Gary Oldman story that I met him there. But I also met another guy here, and I saw J.K. Simmons, and he would come in all the time, and he's pretty gruff in real life. You know, he's like not the most approachable guy, and you know, I just always treat him like anyone else. I didn't really ever bug him. You know, just kind of, you know, hello, sir, blah blah blah. Well. Then I played Portal 2, and I was just like, oh my God, this game. Like, I was obsessed, you know, it was so good, so much fun. And I like saw him after I finished the game, and I was like, I got to do it. And I was like, hey man, I know you don't really like to be approached or, you know, talked about your work. And already I could feel him like getting annoyed. And I was like, I love Portal 2. And he pauses and he goes, one of the best scripts I ever read. And I was like, oh, phew. Thank God. I was like, yeah, Cave Johnson. Like, I just couldn't. I was just like, as long as I'm so glad that didn't just blow up in my face. But yeah, that's my little story. My little story about J.K. Simmons. Space. We're not going to space, mate. So good. So good. Wait, you made another kid? He's going to be 1 year old in the 10th dildo. Poor little bastard got my hairline. Oh my God, you made another child. There's more than one spawn of Rob walking around out there. My God. Oh, wait. Are you... Mike is going back at you haters on California. I'm way behind in the live, but as a proud gay Californian, he is quite gay, I just want to point out that we do not receive $5 for everyone. I must defend my great gay state. California has been a donor state since the 80s, lol. Well, I have no idea. I truly don't know one way or the other. I know that Michael is a big gay communist, so who knows? Can't say. I don't know. Dude has like 4 vapes and 4 drinks. I have 2 drinks, although this one empty now. But yeah, one is water, and then I do have a few vapes. You're right. Busted. Man of War. I ran into Sandra Bullock while unchoking a main gravity sewer in the French Quarter. Bitch has man feet. That's hilarious. Gabe Johnson here. Chariots. Those who were supposed to be injected with insect DNA, those tests have been postponed. There's a new test. Fighting an army of mantis men. Grab a gun. You'll know when the test begins. So great, dude. So much fun. God, that game rules. I wish there was a reason to replay it, because I've replayed it a few times, and after a while, you're like, okay, I'm just kind of breezing through all these puzzles, but it's so much fun. Such a good game. Paying more in federal taxes than it receives, but has no correlation to its state budget or debt levels. All right, I don't even know. I don't know. All right, let's talk about Trump and his movie tariffs. What? What is this about? This is interesting. Okay. Alcatraz, Trump tariffs. Okay. Guess we'll do Reuters. I have a few articles. I have Deadline and I have Reuters. Not that it really matters. It's all fake news anyway, isn't it? All fake news. Okay. Boom. All right. Story of the day. Trump orders 100% tariff on foreign-made movies to save dying Hollywood. Michael told me about this last night. I was like, what the hell are you talking about? That is crazy. So my first thought is don't save them. Please let them die. Please let them die. And then maybe something new will be rebuilt from the broken pieces. Like this is not a move I want you to do. I want you to please implode. Everything you've been doing for the past 10 plus years has just been an affront to entertainment. You've destroyed some of the things I love the most. You've paraded around their carcass, pretending it's alive. Well, you're just had a stick shoved up its ass and be like, isn't this the thing you like? This is the thing, right? It's not. And even that they're new properties, anything they adapt is just awful. I was like, please die. I'm thrilled for you to die. But now Trump is doing 100% tariff on foreign-made movies to save the dying Hollywood. And it's like, we were so close. We were so close to letting Hollywood just get destroyed. I don't know. I don't know. The Wake Down. I'm actually okay with the movie tariff. I'm so tired of Bollywood and Chinese bullshit clogging the recommended on streaming sites. That's interesting. Okay. I don't end up having that problem, but I understand what you're saying. Sanjay Dillo, I know what's behind these movie tariffs. He realized he's too old to read subtitles and got pissy about it. That's funny. I don't not like watching subtitled movies. I will, but I don't like it because you literally you can't look away, because if you look away, you miss something. I used to think I was so like, I'm smart. Obviously, I don't mind, but I do mind. It's annoying. Remember when Gavin disappeared a few thousand homeless people and cleaned up the streets for President Pooh? I do remember that. I wish he'd keep doing that. I wish he'd do it for the orange president. I never learned to read. I know I hate subtitles. I do. I'm with you. Okay. So let's hear about this. All right. U.S. President Donald Trump on Sunday announced 100% tariff on movies produced outside the country, saying American movie industry was dying a very fast death due to the incentives that other countries were offering to lure filmmakers. This is a concerted effort by other nations, and therefore a national security threat is, in addition to anything else, messaging and propaganda, Trump said on Truth Social. I mean, probably. However, all the propaganda had been coming from Hollywood this long. Been just reams and reams of propaganda and bullshit for years and years and years. And we were like this close to getting them to just like eat crow and have to actually adjust and make good content again. So close. Grasping victory from the jaws of defeat. No. Defeat from the jaws of victory is what I was trying to say. Let it die. Let it die. I am wondering, though, I mean, like, because I don't feel like Hollywood would ever come back and be, like, smart and healthy again, right? Even if they're like, oh, God, Trump saved our industry. Maybe we should stop being such whiny little pussies about everything. I doubt it. So I don't feel like he could, I don't even feel like he could win any favors doing this. I don't know. I mean, I know he's all about American business, but maybe he's got a plan we don't see. I mean, he does have like the ambassadors to Hollywood, right? He does have like John Voight and like Mel Gibson or whatever. Maybe they're going to like rebuild Hollywood, but how goddamn old is John Voight? You know what I mean? I don't know. Wait down. Trump's not wrong, but when you have to address the propaganda from Hollywood. I want them to pull a reverse ESG score. If a movie is too woke, they have to pay a fine. That would be awesome. Well, I mean, you see it now, like even in projects that aren't woke, you still see that kind of like the representation that's just kind of absurd. Like I've been watching Mobland. It's really good. I really like it. I'm on the most recent. I'm like all caught up. No spoilers. But like, you know, they were like the cops are walking up to the crime scene. And of course, one of them's the black woman detective. It's like every single show that involves cops has to have one black female detective. It's a law now. It's just kind of like, you're like, I mean, this isn't woke, but it's just annoying. You know, you're just like, okay. It's just like some of these things are there permanently. Oh, God, we're so close. I would have loved to just see them implode and get destroyed and then, you know, have to actually make something good or die. But now we're kind of like subsidizing it. I don't like it. Matt, imagine how many lives this will save. That's true. That's true. Imagine how many Coke dealers will not go out of business now. Imagine how many bagmen who have to hide the dead hookers still have jobs now. It's a good point. It's a good point, guys. She's hot. Click that ad. What are you talking about? Lord of Chains? Lord of Clans? Lord of Chans? I don't see any hot girl. I just see symbols. Okay. Trump said he was authorizing the relevant government agencies, such as Department of Commerce, to immediately begin the process of imposing 100% tariff on all. I don't like when they repeat things in articles. I know. We want movies made in America again. I mean, I just want them to make good movies again. I don't care where they come from. I would like it to be actually entertaining movies. That's my biggest thing. I mean, it's like, yeah, if you're concerned with propaganda, it's like these guys are the number. I mean, they just made that stupid movie, what, Mickey 17 or whatever? And the whole villain is like a Trump parody, right? That's like the whole point. And it's like, it's not to say like you can't make fun of Trump, but like they've just been having a meltdown for 9-10 years about this guy. And he wants to save them? Why? Let it burn, man. Let it burn. Neither Lutnick nor Trump provided any details on how the tariffs would be implemented. It is unclear if the tariffs would apply to the movie on streaming service as well as those shown in theaters, or if they would be calculated based on production costs or box office revenue. Hollywood executives were trying to sort out the details on Sunday night. The MPAA, the Motion Picture Association, which represents the major studios, had no immediate comment. Yeah. In January, Trump appointed Hollywood veterans John Voight, Sylvester Stallone, and Mel Gibson to bring Hollywood back bigger, better, and stronger than ever. Look, if they can do it, but those guys are ancient. You know, those guys are senior citizens. I don't know how much pull and influence they're going to have in Hollywood. I hope that they do. You know, John Voight's cool. He's a good actor. Sylvester Stallone, you know, hit and miss, but still a cool guy. Mel Gibson, honestly, a really good filmmaker and a good actor. I was just watching Braveheart last night, baby. Let's go. You know, classic. But I don't know. I don't know if these guys can save it. Movie and TV production has been exiting Hollywood for years. Oh, I didn't actually know that. I guess that's true. They'd be leaving Hollywood, but they would go to like Canada. Yeah, I guess that's true. They would give all these tax incentives to like Toronto. But there's even a joke in Scott Pilgrim versus the World, or Scott Pilgrim, is it versus the World? Yeah, Scott Pilgrim versus the World, where it's like there's like a joke where they knock down this New York backdrop and like behind it is Toronto because of so many times they just shoot Toronto for New York City because it's so much cheaper to shoot there. I guess so. I don't know. Give tax incentives then. Or, you know, maybe you could just do something about the goddamn talent unions that just triple the cost of every single production. You know, you could maybe just make it competitive, have a more libertarian solution so that like you don't have to have like 70 grips walking around doing nothing, you know, and you have to have all these like diversity requirements and you know, like all these like SAG scale and all this like insane amount of money that everyone gets paid to not contribute all that much. You know, it's like people, when I lived in Hollywood, it's like people would be like, oh, you know, like, but if there were no unions, then like they wouldn't pay us anything. And it's just like, well, what does that tell you? Your labor's worthless. You know what I mean? Like, there's no value. If people do it for free, then they shouldn't. I mean, like, why would they're going to volunteer to do it? It's like, you don't have to do it. You could say no. But if people are going to volunteer to do it, then yeah, I mean, that means the labor's worthless, right? And then like eventually it's like stand-up comedy. People do stand-up comedy for free for years until they have enough of a following, enough of a profile that there's actually a market draw to put them up somewhere, right? To sell out an arena or something like that. Like, it's very, very feast or famine. Don't get me wrong. It's not like a great system, but I don't know. Should entertainment like be like that? And then the thing is, like, the unions just create another barrier of entry. Then it just becomes like another like administration you have to like hurdle, like getting in the unions, like some big fucking deal. And it's just like, I don't know, man. Like a buddy of mine produced a movie like outside of LA at Big Bear. And he made it for, still tens of thousands of dollars. But he told me that, like, if he had done a union, it would have literally triple or quadrupled the cost. But he didn't do a union because obviously he couldn't afford it. So it's just like, yeah, like, I don't know, man. Maybe it's just should make movie production more financially competitive. That's an idea too. But I mean, that'll never happen. Those goddamned communist talent unions. Razorfist got a great video about that. Really, really good. Governments around the world have increased credits and cash rebates to attract productions and capture a greater share of the $248 billion that Ampere Analysis predicts will be spent globally in 2025 to produce content. Damn, that's a lot of money. $250 billion. Damn, son. All major media companies, including Walt Disney, Netflix, and Universal Pictures, film overseas in countries such as Canada. Overseas in Canada? What sea are you going over? The Sea of the Great Lakes? And Britain. How could it be cheaper in Britain? How is anything cheaper in Britain? I don't know. I'm not sure about that one. I mean, look, I'm for making American businesses, lucrative and valuable. Totally. If they're gonna make anything worth fucking seeing. I mean, they haven't made, like, what's the last movie you guys saw that you're like, that was good? Like, I truly do not remember the last movie. I can't even think of one. I can't think of a movie that's come out recently that I was like, yeah, that was really good. Like a newer movie. Even in the past, like, I don't know, 4 or 5 years. Nothing's coming to mind. There might be something out there, I watched like Maverick was fun. Deadpool Wolverine was fun, but those movies are like amusement park rides. Like, they're fun, but that's it. Like, they're not like this masterpiece. It's not like something you remember or you rewatch. I don't know. What's that great, the trans Mexican musical? That was great. There you go. Send your dildo. Good call. You're not going to get me this time. Oh, no. I'm on to you, buddy. You fool me once with the Barbie movie. Shame on me. Fool me twice. Turns out I just like trans guys. Warfare was brilliant, but it's a small scale indie flick. Don't know it, but that's cool. Deadpool Wolverine loved it. Yeah, it was fun. It was fun. I think, like, as I was watching that movie, I'm like, it's kind of hard to get invested if I know both the heroes can't really die. But it was a lot of fun. No, I'm not going to say it wasn't. I enjoyed it. I watched it. I had a good time. Film everything in the volume. Film everything in the volume? What does that mean? What's the volume? It worked for all these amazing Star Wars projects. Oh, I guess you're joking me. So good. Got to watch Razor's videos at half speed. That's kind of funny, dude. I watched like his Lincoln video. It's like, I really need you to slow down. Like, you're throwing so much at me. Like, I really need to, like, I've had to watch it like a few times. I still don't quite get it. It's an interesting take. It's an interesting video, but I'm just like, I know. Spurgfist, how dare you? How dare you? That guy's the best. God, I'm just so mad I can't even respond to you. I don't know what's up to hate with Razorfist. I think you just like to be a contrarian. I like Razorfist. I think he's the man. The budgets are crazy. I don't think Snow White stayed at $200 million budget or whatever it was. Dude, it's crazy how much money they're spending on these fucking movies. And they look like shit. They sound boring. Obviously, I was never going to see Snow White even if it was amazing. So I'm not trying to pretend like I'm like outraged that Snow White sucks. But like, it's just the numbers you hear, you're like, what? Why? How could that possibly have cost so much? They just throw hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars and just create slop that no one sees. Like, didn't that Thunderbolts movie make like $80 million this weekend or something? Like $80 million. I can't imagine that's what they were hoping was going to happen. That's probably one of those movies that needs $1 billion to, like, you know, turn a profit. All those Marvel movies are so expensive. And people just don't care. They're just like, what? I don't know. You keep making slop. Why would I go? For what? It's not fun. What are the big hits? Deadpool Wolverine was a big hit. Barbie was a big hit. Oppenheimer was a big hit. Was Wicked a hit? Wicked might have been a hit. And that's it, though. I mean, what else? What else makes money? What else do people like? I just feel like the whole goddamn industry is just like swirling down the drain. And like, for some reason, like Trump just comes in with a plunger and pulls them out. It's like, what are you doing? Let flush them. Let them go. We might actually get some good entertainment if these pieces of shit, you know, are finally flushed. I don't understand. Wait down. I'm not huge on Drinker these days, but he made a decent video a while back about the bloat in Hollywood being one of the biggest problems. I like Drinker. Like I said, I'm just not as invested in like the conversation anymore. It's just kind of like, oh, does that suck too? Yeah, I know. You know what I mean? Everything stinks. I'm just sad. Don't get me wrong. It's like a bummer, but I still check in with those guys every once in a while. I still watch their stuff here and there. I think I watched Drinker's video about The Last of Us today. I'm not watching it. I don't care. But, you know, what's he got to say? You know, I'm into it. I like him. The Wake Down. Do you know why Chinese couples can't have kids? Because two Wongs don't make a white. That is just so. That is racist. And I don't go for that. I don't go for that. Fuck saving it, indeed. Mel Gibson claims that they're working on Lethal Weapon 5. Oh, my God. You know, there was a time when Lethal Weapon wasn't a thing, and someone had to come up with an original idea. And Shane Black was that guy. Not exactly a fucking genius here. Not exactly like a cutting edge, you know, like scribe of the ages, okay? Like all these things that they love milking, they're going to make like an Aliens TV show. They're doing like another Predator movie. It's like those things were original ideas one time. They're not like ancient stories that they've been remaking for 400 years. Like someone wrote the original script and then you made it and it was successful. And then it built upon itself to be this type of iconic franchise. Try that, motherfuckers. And don't make the lead some fucking obnoxious chick. Is it really that hard? Is it? Because I was in Hollywood, right? Kind of. Adjacent. But I was reading the scripts, man. And I would read so many good scripts, dude. I read one that was like, it was about like, it was kind of like a SpaceX show. It was really, really good. I loved it. I was like, this is awesome. Like, it was just such a smart, well-made, like single cam kind of like dramedy thing. But I mean, I don't know. This was before they hated Elon. So I don't know. It's just one of those things that just never went, but it was awesome. And you'd read good scripts all the time. It's just how rarely they ever get made. Like, what was that show that was pretty good for a while? Barry. That pilot was phenomenal. I read that pilot in the back of I was working a catering gig and I just sat on my phone and I just read that pilot. It was brilliant. It was so much fun to read. I was like, this is going to rule. And it didn't come out for like another 2 years after that. And it's just like, you know, I don't know. Like it's not like there aren't good writers. It's not like there aren't talented people. Like we are under the impression there's no talent, but honest to God, Hollywood's biggest problem is there's so much fucking talent. Hello, Jed and Lady Ravenwolf. What up, Ravenwolf? What up? Thank you, Jed. Good to see you, sir. And madam. Barry was good until they focused on NoHo Hank too much. I just didn't like, I was like, once he kills the cop at the end of the first season, I'm like, well, now I can never really empathize with him again. Cause it's like, you can kind of empathize that he was like killing like bad guys, you know, like he's a mob assassin. And then like he killed people in the war. And those are people in the Middle East, so they're not really people. So who cares, right? But it was just kind of like, you're like, but then you kill that girl and she's just doing her job. Like she's just a totally innocent. You're like, you're irredeemable now. So I was just like, I don't know. I don't know how I could continue watching this show. I was like, no, I'm out. I really liked it for a while. It's such a strong script and so much fun. And Henry Winkler was amazing. It's such a cool idea, but I was just like, once he kills the girl, I'm like, you're a bad guy now. Like, there's no coming back from murdering that cop. She was just doing her job. She wasn't corrupt. She wasn't a bad person. This wasn't like a morally gray thing. She was a good person just trying to do her job. She tried to reason with you and you shot her in cold blood. I don't know how I follow you anymore. Like, I don't know how to be on your side any longer. It's like there's morally gray heroes and then there's murderers. And he's like, I'm not on the side of a murderer. It's weird. I don't know. NoHo Grant. Yeah, NoHo Hank was cool. What's cool is I used to live right where they filmed that. In fact, there's like in the beginning, like the first episode where they go to that gym and he like beats the shit out of the trainer or whatever. There's something involved with the trainer. That was the gym I used to work out at. And I was like, cool. I like that. It's kind of fun. Yeah, offing the Fonz's girl was rough. I kept with it until the end. It got darker and darker and went sideways after that long break. Yeah, I just kind of feel like that. I was just sort of like, I don't know where this goes, man. Like, it was a cool concept, but it just, after a while, it's just, I don't know. Yeah, there's no coming back for that. I was like, yeah, I don't know. Cool idea, though. Cool idea, honestly. That's where Matt picked up on the chicks and he sold his weed at. I've never sold marijuana in my life. I have picked up chicks. I don't think I ever hooked up with anyone at the. I don't generally hook up with girls that I work out with because it's so uncomfortable. I mean, you don't really talk to them anyway. If you do, it's very kind of short and cordial and polite. And I always just imagine, like, if this goes wrong, I still have to see her 3-4 times a week. You know what I mean? Like, it's just kind of thing where it's like, I don't know. Just kind of feels like a sacred space in that regard. But, this girl was talking to me, okay? I kept trying to go back to my workout, and she kept talking to me. So that's completely on her. I didn't do it. Mike. Did he have to go? Did Rob take off? Oh, okay. Got to go pick up my food order. I'll be back. I'll catch y'all later, Matt. If it ends the stream before I get back. Yeah, I'm ending pretty soon, my friend. Ending pretty soon. Yeah, that's how I felt about it. The whole thing felt jarring and intense. That last scene sort of goofed it all up. That's Barry too. Yeah, kind of a bummer. Really good story. Really good concept. But it's just, once you do that, just like, I don't know now. What are we watching? We're watching like a cold-blooded murderer. It's like, it's not the same thing. It was, it was like, you're kind of rooting for him to like get out of the life, and you knew he probably couldn't, but you're like, maybe he can. And then you're like, well, I don't care what happens to him now. Now he's just a bad guy. Just, I don't know, kind of evil. I watched a Ryan Reynolds movie. I'd never heard of before. The voice is not bad. He plays a psycho. Okay. Apparently, according to Candace Owens, that's apparently accurate. He actually is a psycho, unlike what he normally plays. I don't know. I'd never really been a fan of him until he started doing Deadpool. In fact, I used to find him really irritating. I guess I kind of liked, I did really like Waiting, but he's always so obnoxious. That little sarcastic thing he does, every single line's delivered like he's just like so cool and sarcastic. It's like, oh, shut up. Oh, The Substance. That's right. That's supposed to be really good. I didn't see that one. I heard that movie was actually really good. And there's I do like Red Letter Media for the reason that they like are always watching new movies, and they like come up with like good recommendations, or at least the way they talk about them. I'm like, oh, that's cool. I mean, that's how I found Severance, was through their recommendations. And they're always watching new movies, these like indie stuff. They watch everything. So it's like, I kind of appreciate hearing their takes. And they talked about that. They talked about this other movie too. Was it Steven Soderbergh, I think? Let me see if I can't find out what movie that was. I think it was Steven Soderbergh. It was like a kind of like a horror movie. Give me 1 second there, folks. No, it wasn't him then. Oh, yeah, wait. It was. What the hell? God damn it, IMDb. It was called Presence, I believe. I think this is the movie. Yeah. This movie called Presence. Okay. So I'd never heard of this movie. Found out about because of Red Letter Media, and they were talking about oh, real quick, Man of War subtitle "Hate Be Damned." Has anyone seen the Eternaut, Argentine sci-fi post-apocalyptic series? I heard some things. I heard things too. I heard it was good. It's got a good Rotten Tomatoes score on both critics and the audience, so it could be good. I still never watched Dark, honestly, because of subtitles. I know that's so lame, but I've always been to get around to Dark. But apparently, Dark is like really hard to follow. Like you really have to focus and pay attention, which I guess I could do. Maybe I'll watch it. But anyway, this movie Presence, right? So I heard the Red Letter Media guys talking about it. And I was like, oh, this is interesting. Mad at 2 times is the same as Razor at 1 time. That's funny. I heard them talking about the movie and they're like, you should watch it. And I was like, I'm not gonna, but I appreciate it. So then, you know how in like YouTube videos, guys like will break down the entire plot. They'll just do a video where they explain everything that happens in it. And so I watched that and I was like, oh shit. I actually wish I watched it. That was a really creative story in a way that is very uniquely done. And like, I'll probably still watch it anyway, just because it was so creative. But I was like, damn, I really wish I listened to them. Like, it doesn't have a super high IMDb rating, but the way that guy described the movie and the whole thing, I was like, that sounds good. And it's like a Steven Soderbergh movie who he does these really interesting small movies a lot. Like, even though he was like a very big director, a lot of times he'll just get together a small crew and it'll just like kind of run and gun and just make like a small film. This one, I think, takes place mostly in one location, which typically is like the death knell. It's just like, you're like, oh, that'll suck. But the way this movie was described, like I said, I didn't see it, but I saw the description. I was like, that is amazing. What a cool idea. So Presence might be a good movie. I don't know. I'll have to keep an eye out for it. Well, folks, that's going to do it. I appreciate you guys watching the 69th. Yeah, dude. 69th episode of the MFER Podcast. Thank you very much for bearing with me while I went on my little hiatus where I was just playing game streams and getting viciously mocked by my wonderful, wonderful friends in the chat here. But this was a lot of fun, guys. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. Keep an eye out for new episodes. I think, okay, bye. Probably be doing something on Thursday, either a member stream or another podcast or a game stream. I don't know. Probably something on Thursday. I'll have to figure out exactly what that's going to be. But stay tuned. Same time, 8 o'clock. And keep an eye out for new videos and stuff. I am working on a very extensive video on the movie Layer Cake, which is like one of my favorite movies over on the other channel. I'm kind of dragging my feet with it, but I'm in the editing process right now. So that should be, let's hopefully say by the end of the week, it should be out. If you guys are a fan of that movie or curious about it, I think it's going to be a cool video. So that'll be up on the other channel, which I will share as a community post on this one. So, all right, you guys, it's been mad real. Will your video have subtitles? YouTube actually comes with subtitles, so yeah, obviously, duh. Thank you, Rob. Good to see you. Courtney, peace out. Jettery, Boosh, you guys are awesome. Sensual Dildo, Michael, peace out, guys, and I'll see you on the next one. Have a great evening. Poosh, poosh.
How's that for a slice of fried gold?
Yeah, boy!